Welcome to Cosmic Comics, Games and Collectibles, your zen of geekism. We carry comics old and new, magazines, toys, games like Pokemon, Magic, D&D. Want Godzilla, Ultraman, Star Trek, Ninja Turtles, Funko Pops? You'll find it all here. Shop our Cosmic Sound Room and pick up a record or two. Enjoy our Comic Coffee Lounge with a cup of Sasquatch coffee while geeking out over a super cool movie on our big screen. Cosmic Comic, Games and Collectibles. Superman loves us, and so will you.
Good evening, everybody. I am RJ Carter, Senior Managing Editor here at CriticalBlast.com, man who turns on the lights when we have a podcast so that I glow in holy brilliance for all of you to see. It's kind of three on that one. I just kind of realized my lights were off, so I went with it. Tonight, special guest, you've seen him in the news. You have heard about him maligned and cursed and demonized. He is, of course, to many in comics, the devil himself. But, when he's the devil, he's not so much of a devil. Oh, I just threw a plug in there. If you caught it, you caught it. Great. Thank you so much. Tonight, please welcome with me to the show, Mr. Hart D. Fisher.
How you doing there, buddy?
Man, you know what? Here, hang on a second.
And it totally freezes.
Okay, now I'm one swallow better than I was.
Are we having more technical difficulties again?
You're moving and you're talking. So as long as I can hear you, I think we're okay. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now. It's so weird, dude. Like, you and I get together and there must be a lot of crazy energy because all of a
It is.
sudden people at home don't know, like we're going through all this technical difficulty. And when you do StreamYard, they say, hey, move your thing close to the Wi-Fi router. So I've got my phone right above the Wi-Fi router, but I live really close to a radio antenna. And
Oh
so
boy.
what's it, WLAK? Something like that. There's a radio station like not far from my house, and I've noticed that their signal will blow out my Wi-Fi.
Well, that's wonderful. Uh,
Yeah, right.
what we need, so what we need to do is we get some coils and some amps, and we get your Wi-Fi up high enough to where they're broadcasting our interview, so we can
There you
override their
go.
signal. I'd like that. That would be we get some more listeners that way.
Yeah, I think
Ah,
that'd be pretty cool.
so you are last time we talked, you were doing Bill the Bull, and that's a
Yeah, and
campaign
I
that
still am. I've had a lot of crazy stuff happen since the campaign. I
yeah.
mean, I had to move out of the house I was living in because of toxic mold. I had a problem with the landlord because he refused to give me my security deposit back. And it was not a small chunk of money. And I'm still pursuing him to get my security deposit back. And I had to move last minute after the film festival last year. And then living here, we've had 3 major floods since I've been living here. And the last one happened, I lost like $5,000 in collectibles and found out that my renter's insurance wasn't going to cover it because the water came in through the walls.
That's a
Thank you,
very
State Farm.
nitpicky.
Thank you, State Farm. You should have told me that when I took the renter's insurance and said, hey, if you got high rains in Wisconsin, perhaps you might want to pay for this flood insurance. But they fucking didn't. Can I swear on your
Oh,
show?
yeah, sure. Why?
Okay, awesome.
Why the
All right.
fuck not? FCC doesn't rule us. Like not like they would. Yes, if we tried to take that tower, Woody, they wouldn't. You know what?
And
It's I've got a radio tower story that's Superman related, but that's neither here nor there.
well, the Bill the Bull story, you asked me about Bill the Bull. The other part of the Bill the Bull book and why it's taken so long, besides the flooding and all the BS I've been dealing with behind the scenes, I've been kind of anal about it. Like I've been in tweaking the artwork and I've been like really, I've had a hard time letting it go to the printer. Do you know what I mean? Like this
Sure.
is my baby. I haven't printed anything in a long time. So for me, it's kind of funny to re-release an American Horror Story because it's sitting there in a print on demand and I only did it as a limited edition. So it's never been released as a mass market. So it's funny that I'm now taking pre-orders on an American Horror Story while I'm about ready to go to print with Bill the Bull, the trade paperback.
Always have something else in the hopper ready to go for the next time.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when we
And
had,
also the ebook for Poems for the Dead. We've got an ebook on that we're going to get on online. And we released the ebook for an American Horror Story. And we started taking pre-orders. I don't know if you saw, I was just on Ethan Van Sciver's thing yesterday.
I was there yesterday. Yeah, I was in the chat.
Oh, really? Were you in the chat?
I was in the chat.
Oh, cool. I felt the show went pretty good. I really enjoyed talking to Ethan.
Yeah, I thought it was a great show. You guys, there was a lot of energy involved there. Getting John Malin in. I don't know if you had met a lot of the people who were part of that.
And
the
I'm still trying to, well, they were talking about Comicsgate and the whole notion that I'm the original Comicsgate. And I got to tell you, RJ, I'm still having a hard time wrapping my brain around what the hell Comicsgate is. Because it seems to me that if you're being prosecuted or persecuted for your political beliefs, that's pretty un-American. Because whether you're a Democrat or a Republican, you're still a person.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's very McCarthyist.
It is very McCarthyist, and I don't like it. I don't like it at all. This notion that if you were a Trump voter, then you're demonized, or the idea that if you voted for Biden, you're demonized. And it's like, hey, man, am I going to be demonized because I'm a Catholic? Am I going to be demonized because I'm Jewish? Am I going to be demonized because I'm Latino? Am I going to be It's bullshit. It's bullshit. And I don't like it at all. It bothers me.
And there will always be somebody to demonize whatever it is you are.
Yeah, well, on the show, I was trying to discuss with Ethan. I'm like, look, Ethan, these people that are doing this to you and pulling this, they've got nothing. They've got no other way to get attention. They're not drawing a really cool comic book. I think Cyberfrog is pretty damn good. I like what he's done. I really think what he's done with his crowdfunding is amazing. The Cyberfrog toys look fantastic. I want some. I want some of those Cyberfrog toys. They remind me of the Micronauts. I don't know. Did you ever see the Micronauts? I don't know how old you are.
Baron Karza and
yeah, Baron Karza and
yeah.
And the time traveler guy that was golden, and it was a robot guy. And
I can't remember all their names, but there was
no. And I used to get the comic books because the comics were done by the artist Michael Golden, and that guy's art is amazing. He's the artist that
one of my favorite Batman stories. The Player on the Other Side, Batman Special #1.
Yeah, and he was the original artist on, I believe, like when they rebrought back like G.I. Joe, and I think they did a miniseries like The Nam, and he was the artist on that.
Yep,
and he did Bucky O'Hare.
Of all things, yes, the big green space rabbit.
Yeah, there you go. He should be out there with the Guardians of the Galaxy, making things safe for us taller people.
I agree. By the way, folks, Hart's got other stuff he's written here. Here is a piece that is in The Devil You Know Better now on Amazon, and you can find go to Amazon, look for The Devil You Know Better Critical Blast. You'll find it. I don't have to provide you a link. You're grown up.
I gotta say, the next time you do a signature plate, RJ, give more room between the signatures, because when I used the big fat Sharpie with my swooping scroll, it was going over Mike's name, and I didn't want to do that.
That's why I gave a whole bunch of them there just in case. But yeah, I can do that next time. I'll make sure that
make sure there's a little bit more space. So what I did is I switched to thinner Sharpie, because I'm a huge Mike Baron fan. I'm a big fan of Nexus, and especially the Badger. As a martial arts guy, sitting here in his bathrobe with his hair all wet and kitty cat sunglasses, I'm a huge martial arts freak. And the Badger was one of my favorite books. I really liked almost all the books that First Comics put out.
That was a great run. In those days, it was like all these independent books came out, and I was a DC Marvel kid because I thought that's all there was. These two companies make comic books, and then I found these others, and they're like, these are fantastic. I'm hooked on all of them.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to do another book. We're going to do The Devil You Know Best, because I still haven't finished my story, which is why I kicked off these sets of anthologies in the first place.
I gave you guys a poem for that, and I like the poem that I gave you guys, but I'd like to write a short story.
Well, by all means, do so. We're going to put a book in between an anthology book, and the idea I've settled on is The Monsters Next Door.
That's perfect up my alley.
There you go.
Well, I'm the monster that grew up next door to Billie Eilish.
Wait a second. You grew up next door to Billie Eilish.
No, not I grew up. She grew up next door to me. Sorry, I got a little dyslexic for you there. Billie Eilish grew up next door to me, so I am the monster next door. So when they interview Billie and they go, hey, why is your stuff so dark? Hey, Billie, what's up with the spider video? Well, if you watch us on the Verminators from the Discovery Channel, we had a Black Widow infestation in my home and their home, and we lived in Highland Park. And so I've known Billie since she was born. And same with her brother, Finney. Finney, I met him when the family moved in, because Finney's a couple of years older. Finney is Billie's older brother, and they do a lot of their music together. So I laughed my ass off when I can't claim that it's me, but I did laugh my ass off when I watched the Billie Eilish video for Bad Guy, and listening to the lyrics made me laugh my ass off, because I know who she grew up next door to. Me.
Yeah.
And I'm her first director. She's in the opening credits for the original American Horrors television series. We shot the original American Horrors TV series in 2008. And I ran my business from my home next door to them, and they were homeschooled. So Finney and Billie were around. I was at their birthday parties. I borrowed tools from their dad. You know what I mean? So I know these kids, and I promoted Finney's music when I had my radio show, Heart Attack Radio, and they were my neighbor kids, and I worked from home. They were homeschooled, and frankly, the neighborhood that we lived in was pretty dangerous. it was pretty gang entrenched, and there was a lot of shootings and stabbings. So her folks, and rightly so, they kept a real tight leash on those kids to make sure they didn't get out and get into trouble.
Yeah, I know where you're talking about. I spent several years around Downers Grove and Lombard when I was in college
Oh no,
there.
this is Highland Park, Los Angeles.
Oh, okay.
Not
Sorry,
Highland
wrong
Park
Highland
in
Park. I was
Illinois.
Chicago area.
Yeah, no. I lived in LA for 22 years. And so I
Okay.
lived next door to Billy and Finney and their folks, Maggie and Patrick, for 15 years.
All right. I guess I just thought it was the Chicago one because you're in Wisconsin now, and it's like
Yeah,
across the
yeah.
border.
I'm in Wisconsin, and it's weird to go on these shows, and I've done so much press and I've done so many interviews. I forget that the new show and the new audience doesn't know all this shit. You
There's
get what I mean?
always
Like
it's
I've
always
said it
somebody's
so
first
many
interview like
times.
this. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, and you talk about Black Widow infestation. Man, I was in North Carolina talking about moving around all over the place. When I saw my first Black Widow, now I thought I'd seen him as little kids. I was like, oh, look at that little black spider. It's got a red dot on its back. I bet it looks like an hourglass. No, I went in for the lawnmower. I turned around right above the door, thorax as big as a ping pong ball, and I'm not exaggerating. And it looked so black and so shiny that I thought it was made out of plastic. And then it
Yeah.
moved. And it's a very distinct, just like the Marvel character Black Widow hourglass. I'm like, oh my god! That
When
thing,
when
and
I was on,
my
have
hand is bigger
you
than a human.
seen Jackass Forever?
No, I've avoided those kind of.
Okay, so in Jackass Forever, they've got a bug wrangler. He's like an Australian dude. And when I was on the Verminators, they reenacted. I had an issue where I was, all right, hey, if you didn't notice with the bathrobe, I'm a big girl who likes a big bubble bath. So I'm in my bubble bath in Highland Park and Los Angeles, and I'm tall, I'm big, I'm too big for the tub, so my feet are sticking out. And I'm like reading a book or like I can't remember if my was just like had my head back and was just like chilling. And I felt something on my big toe. And I looked and it was a giant black widow on my big toe in the bathtub. I shit you not. I levitated like Jesus, squealed like a little child, and ran out of the shower. And ran out of the shower. And they reenacted that for the Verminators. If you go on to my YouTube channel, youtube.com/Crime Pays Hart, you'll see Hart Fisher on the Verminators. And they didn't put the Black Widow bit in there because they had that guy. He dangled this giant. I mean, like you're saying, like I've never seen a Black Widow that goddamn big before in my life. And he dangled it. He had glued piano wire to its butt. So he super glued piano wire to its butt, and he's dangling it and lowering it to my foot, lowering it to my foot, and finally it's getting like really close to my toe. And you know what I got paid for this? I got free Subway for lunch. I'm doing hazardous stunt work for the Discovery Channel, and I got Subway. Hey, thanks, guys. Ooh, thanks for springing the big bucks. Subway. Oh,
Hey,
God.
I would do just about anything for a Subway sandwich some days, but then I like food.
Not getting a Black Widow spider dangled over your big toe while you're in the bathtub.
Oh no,
I don't mind. I'm afraid of stuff. I can admit it. There's shit that scares the crap out of me.
You're reminding me that I'm sitting here barefoot right now, and I was sitting here barefoot a year ago, and and I'm on the computer, and something's we had a gnat issue because they trash can had gotten fruit in it or something, and gnats came in, and I feel something crawl my foot, so I shake my foot, and next thing I know, my foot is on fucking fire, and I'm like, and I look down, and there's this striped bark scorpion scurrying off.
Holy shit!
Yeah, we have striped bark scorpion here. I know because I looked them up after I went screaming into the bathroom and running cold water on it, and thinking, I've seen Indiana Jones. I'm going to die now. Apparently not poisonous beyond extreme 2 hours worth of burning pain and a swelling. But
my brother and his best friend were into that. They collected those kinds of dangerous insects. They had like a black centipede that was this long. I mean, it was terrifying. And then
Yeah,
one time it got out of the cage when I was introducing my late wife Waka to my brother for the first time, and my brother's showing her, hey, let me show you this really dangerous African black centipede that I've seen eat the skin off a mouse from the feet to the head before it killed it. Here, let me open up the cage and fork it out, and whoops, I'm going to throw it right in your fucking face. And he did. He threw it. It fucking flew through the air. And my brother's buddy, he's all yoked. He's jacked. He's a big dude. He's Mr. Muscle Guy. He fucking ran like Wile E. Coyote. He beep, beep, gone. He was out of there. And then my wife saw him run and realized how dangerous this insect was. My brother's like, oh, shit. And my brother's a big dude, and he's got no hair. He's got alopecia. So he's looking like your Aryan Nation guy. And then I jumped up onto the the washing machine in the corner of the kitchen, and I'm looking at him like trying to figure out where, because I was barefoot. I was in flip-flops.
Yeah.
And then Waka's just standing there in the kitchen like, ah! And she's got cute little pigtails, and she's this cute Japanese anime girl in her little hip-hop jeans. Oh, my God, dude.
And it's in her hair. No, it's what...
No, and the funny thing, no, it wasn't in her hair. I can't remember where we found it. I can't remember where they grabbed it from. My brother got it. But it was still like, really, dude? You're meeting my new girlfriend that became my wife. And you tossed a dangerous African black centipede into her face. I should have known. I should have known. Jesus.
Oh, man. So the reason we reached out to you to get you on a show again here, because you're planning another Kickstarter. I don't think it's quite up yet. You're still putting the final touches on it because you're a perfectionist. That's why you're still working on the Bill the Bull book. You want to get it just right, but you're doing just in time the omnibus for the Jeffrey Dahmer work that you did.
Yeah, and honestly, it's weird to decide, like, where do you go? Do you do the Kickstarter first? Do you do Indiegogo first? And I know Billy Tucci, for the people at home, I know Billy does this. He goes back and forth between the two, and I figured, why couldn't I do that? And so I kind of wanted to try out Indiegogo before I do Kickstarter. But people are telling me, hey, Hart, if you do the Kickstarter first, you could barrel that into the Indiegogo.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Karen Nicole on last night, and that's exactly what she does. She, makes $60,000-$70,000 on Kickstarter with her cosplay calendars and books and stuff. And then there's a mechanism where you set up Indiegogo. You say, my goal is $500, and then you roll $60,000 straight from Kickstarter into it, and the algorithm just loses its mind and says, "Oh my God, everybody has to see this now because it's very popular." So it's a marketing.
Max DeVille from Atrocity Press. Max is really leaning on me to go that route. He really, and Max is part of my team. We're friends and we're team members. So I take it seriously when he gives me advice. And there's been some times like he was staying with me for a little while, and there was a moment where it's just like, well, yeah, if you shut the fuck up and listen to me once in a while, we might get some shit done.
Yeah, Max is a good guy. He's another old IT guy himself, and we had an interview and did the post game wrap up stuff, and we weren't talking comics at all. We were talking coding and things that I was trying to set up, and yeah, he was going to do some code for me. I forget what it was for, but we never really got back to it.
We had a real issue with Max is my head of tech. So at American Horrors, when I'm not doing comic books, and what I've been doing for a long time before my return to comics, for the people at home who have not been listening, hi, I'm Hart Fisher. I'm the publisher of Boneyard Press. I am the most controversial publisher of comic books alive in the world today. Yes, that's a simple fact. And I run, and I'm the horror host of the American Horrors television channel. American Horrors is an old school, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week horror TV channel where there's no commercials during the movies. It's free on Roku. It's free on Glued.tv. It's free online at www.americanhorrors.net. That's right, americanhorrors.net. Also at boneyardpress2020.com. That's right, my publishing company, boneyardpress2020.com. And Max is the head of tech. So we had a long summer launching our new channel. We launched our second channel, American Horrors Classic, and it's on Roku. I urge everybody to install the American Horrors Classic channel on the Roku. It's totally free. And the idea is, I've mentioned my wife. And so once upon a time, we had two channels. And I ran the Roku channel, which is the modern American Horrors channel. And then Waka, my late wife, she ran the American Horrors Film On channel, which was through a service run by Alki David, this crazy billionaire from Europe that's the heir to the Coca-Cola bottling empire. So Waka was in charge of her channel. I was in charge of my channel. And a lot of people don't know, my wife was so multi-talented. I really lost a lot when I lost her, not just as my friend and my wife and the person that I love, but as my partner in the business, a really good partner, a person who could edit, who could do graphic design, who could help me direct, who could shoot camera, and edited a lot of the content. So American Horrors Classic is my attempt to renew her channel because I have her schedules. She was so organized that she wrote down every day of her scheduling because her channel was a daily schedule. So we had like Mondo Vision Monday, Satanic Sunday, Twisted Tuesday, Wicked Wednesday, Fucked Up Fridays. And so we did that before the El Rey channel. Hey, thank you, El Rey channel, for ripping us off. Good job, guys. So we were doing that, and this is me keeping my wife alive. This is me bringing back all the old shows that we launched American Horrors with. And again, that's American Horrors Classic, free on Roku. Add it now. And so I'm like trying to like keep her memory alive and celebrate her work. And I think that's the only way you could do it. And that's the same with us when we're talking about Will Eisner's The Spirit. You know, we keep the work alive by continuing to enjoy it and keeping it out there.
Absolutely. Now, do you have a program guide for the AmericanHorrors.net? Because it's for people who hear streaming service and think, you know, that's what I'm going to go watch some stuff. You're going to watch whatever's showing right then. It's like television. Back,
it is television. It's an old school. You're absolutely right. I actually saw somebody talking about it online recently, and they're like, "Oh my God, it's great! It's like an old school TV channel." Yeah. That's exactly what it is.
Don't know what you're watching at first, or what's coming up next. I was watching something because I had an advertisement that was going to run, and I'm like getting caught up in the movie, and I'm like, well, what the hell is this? So all I knew was like the character names, and I'm like typing them into IMDb and trying to get a hit, and I finally did.
Isn't that part of the fun, RJ? Isn't that part of the fun? Like you turn something on, and you're like, wow, I've never heard of this. This looks cool. Yeah. What is this?
Definitely something I'd never heard of before. And it actually starred somebody. I mean, somebody before she was somebody. No, I don't. It's like she came home from college and her sister was running around with hippies, and her mom and dad were like this ultra conservative couple that were just oblivious to everything. And they would throw these parties in the house, and something's wrong with Sharon. And it was just really, it was like a David Lynch film in many ways.
Well, for the people at home, you know, I personally schedule the American Horrors channel. So I'm like a DJ, and the way we pursue the network, and the reason there's no guide, well, one, I don't have the money. It costs money to pay for these services to do these things. And I've been having all my people die. In the last 4 years, I've had so many members of my staff have passed. My wife, of course, after a terrible battle with colon cancer and anemia. My mother and her emergency brain surgery in the summer of 2020. We had our great buddy, Groovy Neville, Groovy from Groovy TV. He dropped dead of a heart attack during the lockdown. And then a lot of our other people since then have all been dropping dead, man. So I'm really understaffed. And for me to launch a second channel and publish comic books, I'm insane.
Well, we knew that. You know, you and me and Pops up there, you know, we're all a little cracked in the head to do the things we do, right, Pops?
Yeah. Look at this, Hart. Look, you hit me up the other day. You said, Pops, I need to be out on your show again. Look, you're on my network. You're not even on my show. That's how I roll now, bro.
I
Well,
didn't even tell him.
on
Yeah.
your show, it's going to happen because you mentioned it. I'm going to be getting Buildable done. I've been like really anal about getting. I mean, it's a huge book, and I've been reading Eric Larson talking about his Savage Dragon omnibus with his sketchbooks, and I really understand it. It's kind of it is at a certain point. It's kind of hard to let it go. It's kind of hard to let it go, and it's something it's been with me since I was a little child. So it's been tough to pull the trigger on it, you know. And I've been like revising the introduction to it over and over again. I've been tweaking the artwork. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah,
But you know what? Perfect is the opposite of done.
Yeah. Well, it's going to get done because my feeling is this. I have to get Buildable done and out. Like the digital edition's almost there, about ready to go out. And my feeling is before I can launch the Dahmer campaign for the Big Book of Dahmer, thank you, Netflix. You're forcing me to reprint the books. If it wasn't for Netflix's Dahmer special and the way they completely maligned me, the way they redrew the covers, the way they distorted the truth about the books. I'm sitting there watching episode 10, and they bring up my book, the Jeffrey Dahmer versus Jesus Christ book. Now, the actress playing one of the victim family members who sued me, I know these people. These are people I know. And they completely distorted the truth about them. And they completely misrepresented my work. They redrew my cover. They literally redrew the cover, but they kept all the logos. They kept all the trademark, all the logos, all the stuff is all on there. And they misrepresented my work. And my favorite line of that is in the show, the woman goes, and I hate to do this terrible, shitty, old black lady impersonation, but I'm gonna. Lord, I can't read this book, but I sure hope Jesus Christ kicks his ass. Didn't say kick his ass, but I sure hope Jesus wins. You assholes know that Jesus wins. The assholes who made this documentary on Netflix, they're distorting the truth and they're manipulating the viewers and they are selling a lie because they knew when they delivered that line, they knew Jesus beats the shit out of Jeffrey Dahmer. Then there's another line they offer. Oh, look, there he goes again with another Dahmer book. He's making Dahmer into a superhero. Hey, assholes, I never made Dahmer into a superhero.
No.
Never. No. Never. I never portrayed him in a positive light. I've never thought he was cool. I always thought he was a rapist, pedophile piece of crap. I do not like Jeffrey Dahmer. I've never been a Dahmer fan. And in the books, it says that. So the way they're misrepresenting my work, and it's been 30 years of this crap. I've been dealing with this for 30 goddamn years. I was dealing with this crap when my girlfriend was raped and murdered. And they're on talk shows going, hey, you'd never do this book if you'd only lost a loved one. I'm in the middle of my own murder trial, asshole. My love was raped and murdered. You fucking jagoffs. And they completely misrepresent the truth. And so I have to reprint the book now. I have to get it out there. I have to. They're making me do it. So I've had to change all my deadlines. I've had to reorganize everything. And I've got a really amazing guy writing the introduction for the Dahmer Kickstarter. Well, I'm actually thinking about doing the Dahmer first on Indiegogo. I kind of want to try Indiegogo just to try it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. It's an easier interface for people running a campaign than Kickstarter is.
I was going to be doing Babylon Crush next. So I was going to do Babylon. And all my friends said, hey, Hart, the Bad Girl books do better on Kickstarter.
This is true.
And then from talking to people, they've said, hey, Hart, you might want to do the Dahmer book on Indiegogo because of the political content. So I'm on the fence because I still can't figure out Comicsgate, guys.
Why not both?
Can't figure it out. I don't get it.
If you put it on Kickstarter, all that does is delay it from getting to Indiegogo by 30 days.
Listen, just do it on Kickstarter, and then if it funds, then you can go over to Indiegogo and you do it on Indiegogo, and it's already funded.
That's what Max wants me to do. That's really what Max DeVille wants me to do. Max is really pushing me hard to go with Kickstarter and then launch right into the Indiegogo. Yeah. And I get it.
Hit them both, man. Look, there's some people that won't use either. Why not cater to both?
What about, well, what's the idea? Like, is there a way to use your Indiegogo to help influence your Kickstarter?
No, it's the other way
No.
around. You use
Okay, I know.
You use the Kickstarter, and you're like, look, we already funded. We got the funds. We're printing the books. Now, you people that won't use Kickstarter, I'm making it available for you on Indiegogo. We'll make an exclusive cover just for you guys, and we're going to print the book over there.
Yeah, you make it a little bit different on the Indiegogo than on the Kickstarter, so that people who went to Kickstarter got their
but you already got the funding for the book, so you go to Indiegogo with that small goal.
Even if it's nothing more than, the cover says Kickstarter exclusive, and then the Indiegogo says Indiegogo exclusive.
Yeah,
I've been lining up different stuff for, like, we thought in the back of our head, like, down the road we'll do Dahmer. Like, we thought down the road, because I was focused on the characters I really loved the most, which was Buildable, Dark Angel, Babylon Crush. So my focus was there, and we thought, well, you should do Babylon, dude. It's topical. It works. It's a lesbian dominatrix character. You're one of the first people that was publishing LBGQ comic books openly. I did this in the 90s, all through the 90s. I've always been a person who believes in free speech, a person that believes in freedom of expression, a person that believes, hey, if you want to go dress like a girl, go ahead. Have fun, knock yourself out. Do your thing, man. Do your freak thing. And people go, oh, you said freak. I'm a freak. I'm a weirdo. I don't have a problem with the word at all. I'm a weirdo. I'm a weirdo. I know I'm a weirdo. I know I'm a weirdo.
We all have a freak flag of some color or another.
Yeah, and because of the Dahmer Netflix special, there you go.
I'm with Made in Hell there. If it's a European Kickstarter, I will not back it until the very last day, because I may give them $30 and then Kickstarter ends up taking $35 out because the dollar shifted before the campaign was over.
Oh, gotcha. That makes sense. Because
they don't take their money at Kickstarter until it's all done. Whereas Indiegogo is like, hey, that's $30, take $30. And Indiegogo says, thank you for the $30. It's out of your account now. We have it.
Okay. Well, the thing with the Netflix special, and it came out of nowhere. I didn't know this was even in production. I didn't know it came out. No one talked to me. No one did the professional thing, which is get your licensing in order, guys. I've had my comic books featured in John Waters' Serial Mom, Scream 2, the Discovery Channel special on the 90s, the most popular miniseries the Discovery Channel, Nat Geo ever had. It was Nat Geo's The 90s, The Last Great Generation. And I'm in that, by the way. And when I was on the Verminators, when I'm on news programs, I always sign a release. When my comics were used, there's a revenge movie with Val Kilmer called The Salton Sea. And Vincent D'Onofrio is one of the villains. He's so good. And it involves Val Kilmer's going undercover to get the meth heads that murdered his wife. And so the bad guys have their shoot house where they do all their drugs. And so in the bad guy's house, the whole wall.
Oh, no.
Whoa.
Oh, no.
That Tai Chi pose.
Oh, Hart, we lost you.
Come on.
And he's going to keep talking.
Baby.
There we go. We're back.
He's back.
So the Val Kilmer movie, I signed releases for everything. Ryan Murphy's production company, they didn't reach out to me at all. They didn't. In fact, they scrubbed my name out of it. Like, they refer to me. They put me down. They disparage my work. They photoshopped the artwork on the covers to make it look different, but kept all the logos.
Like the actor.
They put their own actor. The cover for the original Jeffrey Dahmer book was done by an amazing Russian artist named Eric Perukin. And Eric was a professor at the U of I. And this guy went through hell getting his family out of Soviet Union Russia. This dude had his head caved in a car wreck, and still he wouldn't go to the hospital because he was afraid they were going to revoke his papers, so he couldn't leave Soviet Union Russia, and they wouldn't let him leave with his portfolio. This amazing man in New York City sat down and recreated his portfolio from scratch. This amazing artist, they photoshopped his artwork out of a historic book to put their shitty Photoshop actor in. I'm so furious about how they insulted Eric. Eric is an amazing artist. This dude impersonates Durer Prince for fun. This guy's a Renaissance painter. He's an amazing person. It's not just me, you assholes. You shit on this guy's work.
And you know what? They're going to claim fair use because it's a documentary.
No, it's not a documentary, and it's not fair use because they're misrepresenting my work. They're portraying it as if it's mine. My logos are all on it. If they had just put my art up there and they could say fair use, but they're altering it and they're portraying a fake thing and they're misrepresenting my work.
Yep.
Do you get what I mean as an artist? And then for Dahmer versus Christ, that's my artwork. I drew that cover. And they're impersonating my art. So I've been talking to some lawyers to figure it out, to see, hey guys, what should we do here? And I am the only guy to ever sue Marvel Comics and win. I did beat Marvel Comics over trademark and copyright infringement over my title Dark Angel. I did beat O.J. Simpson in court. I have been very vociferous in protecting my trademarks and copyrights. Gerard Way, which I won't get into right now. And I've had this issue with Ryan's other productions because Ryan has stolen from me in the past.
Oh, come on, Hart.
Come on. Crank the phone a little harder. Crank the phone a little harder.
Don't touch the phone.
And I also believe that it's kind of like a fuck you. It's like a fuck you to me personally. I think this person is saying fuck you to me. And I'm not the only one that feels this way. There's a lot of people during the production of his stuff that feel they weren't talked to. I know some of the victims' families. Well, of course they're upset. They were upset with me. And it's funny to see them in the Netflix special saying, well, we should sue these guys. Oh, we should sue them. Oh, well, we tried that before. We know how that happened. Well, I'm the guy they sued. So they leave out the fact that the only reason I did any other Dahmer books past the bio, The Further Adventures of Young Jeffrey Dahmer, Dahmer Zombie Squad, Jeffrey Dahmer versus Jesus Christ, they were all done specifically because I needed money to pay the lawyers for legal fees. If they had left me alone, if they hadn't made a big stink, the first print of the Dahmer book is, there's only 4,000 copies of that out there, guys. It's a $2.50 book. It's a $2.50 book. How much fucking money do you think I made off of 4,000 copies sold at $2.50? And through Diamond Distribution, I'm only getting, was it 60? I'm getting 40% of cover price. So I'm only getting 40% of that $2.50. Oh, the riches that I made. Oh, the profits that I made. But because of what they did,
$4,000 total. Total gross, $4,000.
Yeah, and you got to pay for the printing. You got to pay to print those 4,000 books. So I had to do more books and second printings and the sequels specifically because of their behavior. If they had left me alone, if they hadn't sued me, if they hadn't gone after me in the press, none of this would have happened, guys. There would be nothing.
But Hart, surely, as a comic creator, under legal duress, somebody sounded the clarion call to bring in the Comic Book Legal Defense Fund to help you. Surely this happened.
No,
they fucked me.
Oh.
The Comic Legal Defense Fund fucked me. I was a kid that had just gotten out of college, and I was a bouncer at a bar, and I'm financing my own comic company with a loan I got from my grandfather, my grandpa Elmer. And thank you, Elmer Cutler. Thank you. Rest in peace. And so when this hit, I thought, yeah, CBDLF, yeah, the Comic Legal Defense Fund. And I'd been there. I donated to them. I'd supported their cause. So what they did was they had like a 10-person board, and they had me FedEx everything to all 10 members of the board. I didn't have that goddamn money. I did not have money for FedEx back then, and let alone 10 packages to these guys. So I sent out these 10 FedEx packages to these board members, and they got back to me and they said, you know what, Hart? We can't help you because we don't agree with your politics. That's a quote. We can't help you, Hart, because we don't agree with your politics. And I was saying to myself and my friends, what fucking politics are you talking about? This is a book about a serial killer. It's condemning the serial killer. It is condemning the media's portrayal of the serial killer. It is condemning serial killer culture in a whole. What the fuck politics are you talking about? This is before I did everything else. I had not done Kill Image at this time. I had not done Kill Marvel. I had not ran Danzig's comic book company and co-wrote a Taste of Cherry banned in Oklahoma City as obscene material to this day. I hadn't done all that. I'm just some dummy who's a bouncer at a bar who does Taekwondo and is drawing his comic books in Champaign-Urbana. So what politics are you talking about? So when these jagoffs ran into trouble with Michael Diana, I called them up and I said, guys, if you do not back up Michael, I'm going public. I'm going to go public with how you treated me. I'm going to go public. And I'm going to tell everybody how you threw me under the bus completely.
Michael Diana's boiled angel.
Yes.
And he was legally rejoindered, and this is what always stuck with me. He was legally rejoined from drawing anything. He's
the only cartoonist in America to go to jail for his art. He's the only comic artist in America to go to jail for his art. And it was because he was a suspect in the Gainesville murder cases, and the FBI saw his comics, Boiled Angel, and they said, you can't do these. He said, sure I can. It's America. They said, no, you can't. You got to stop this right away. He said, no. So they targeted him. And they had their operatives buy it over state lines. So they went after Michael for distributing obscene materials, creating and distributing obscene materials across state lines. And that was part of the thing with Flowers and the Razor Wire was I was one of the people that published Michael after he was banned. I published him and supported him. Michael has slept on my couch. And so I published him under threat from the government. The government had threatened me and said, hey, if you publish this work, we're going to come after you. And I felt I had a pretty good legal case. I felt I could beat them because, frankly, a lot of times they win because I've worked with Max Hardcore, who's also gone to jail for obscenity. I've worked with Rob Black from Extreme Associates, who's also gone to jail for obscenity. So I've got 3 people I've worked with that have all gone to jail for obscenity. And the thing I noticed about these people, and I noticed this with Mike, they don't look good on the witness stand. They don't talk well. They're not well spoken. They're a little bit of a deviant. You know, I'm as much as the horror stuff I do, I'm a pretty straight ahead guy. Yeah. You know what I mean? I'm not that complicated.
You can hold a normal conversation.
Yeah, I'm a pretty regular dude. I like my cheeseburgers. I eat pussy. I like to slap my girlfriend on the ass once in a while. I like a good horror movie. I like a good Chuck Norris action film. I feel like I'm a total red-blooded American male. End of rant, guys.
Oh, well, rant. I expect more rants whenever I have you on the show, man. I mean, last time we had you on our show was for an hour-long interview with Lucifer Storm, and it was 4.5 hours later and 7 Jack and Cokes that we finally ended up putting the cap on that one. So
they were counting them off last night on Evan's show. They're like, oh, he's 6 Jack and Cokes deep. And I'm like, ladies and gentlemen, I am 235 pounds and I am pacing myself. Now I get a little lubricated at the end, and I definitely could tell in the interview, I could tell like I'm starting to lose my train of thought after hour 3. I could tell, and also, I don't know, like me and Evan, we were on the thing and we were talking about homosexual characters in Cyberfrog and how he was saying that he didn't have any. And we kind of got caught up in talking over each other because, okay, that's all right. I mean, your story's your story. You tell the story you need to tell. And for other people to come and say, oh, no, man, you need more leprechauns in here. You can't have this story in Ireland unless we get more leprechauns. And, we need some fairy folk in here. The fairy folk are not being represented correctly in your Irish comic book. You know what else? I think we need some Bigfoot in here. Even though Bigfoot isn't even Irish, what the hell? We need Bigfoot in here. And I have a problem when they're trying to put a quota on an artist.
Yeah.
The artist has got to do what the artist has got to do, man. And you got to let them create and tell the story they need to tell.
Yeah, I completely agree. I mean, if there's no reason in the story for a character to act a certain way, then you don't have to say this character is a certain way. It's never going to come up in the story. It has nothing to do with it.
And by the way, today's beverage of choice is Canadian Club and Dr. Pepper. Hey, Abby, would you help me out, honey?
I've polished off my Bud Light Orange for the night. So
you're only one. Well, I don't know. How big are you?
Too big. I moved down here to Arkansas at 218, and I ballooned up over the last 2 years to 260, and I don't know why, because I don't eat more than 1,800 calories a day. I have one beer, sometimes a night. Sometimes I go without.
Exercise?
I do this. I do this 18 hours a day.
I advise more fucking.
Okay, well, I'm divorced, so I can do that, I guess.
More fucking.
I just have to find more partners. Hey, Allie's out there in the chat, and she's going to be coming on the show here soon to talk about Egg Beater. So thanks for popping in the chat. Appreciate seeing you.
I actually recognize her photo. I've talked to Allie online before.
Mm-hmm.
When you've done this for 30 years, I love discovering talent. Like discovering Gerard Way. Well, he was Gary Way to me. And doing On Raven's Wings. Like we mentioned, Billie Eilish growing up next door to me. The amazing artist John Cassaday started at Boneyard Press, and John's a fantastic artist.
Yes,
John Lucas started with us. Duncan Rouleau started with us. And that's one of my big joys is introducing new talent and encouraging new talent. And once I get past these omnibus things, we've got a lot of new content coming from Boneyard Press. I just launched the new American Horrors channel. So that was a big thing that was on my plate. I've had too much stuff at once to get done. And so now I'm screening my movie, like my first film, The Garbage Man, which is about a black serial killer that I was shooting and making when my girlfriend was murdered. And also during the whole Dahmer controversy. And so that's going to screen in my hometown in Blue Island at the Lyric. They just did a $1 million renovation of the Lyric Theater in Blue Island, Illinois. And that is the theater that I went to as a kid and saw, I saw the Blues Brothers there with my dad. I saw Chuck Norris, the Octagon, there with my dad. I saw, I wasn't allowed to see Porky's. I only got to see the first, it was a double feature of the Beastmaster and Porky's, and my mom wouldn't let me and my brother watch it. So we hung around for a little bit, and then we left before my mom came looking for us. And then we didn't tell her we came home and let mom go looking for us at the theater.
Oh,
yes. My God. So we're playing my movie, The Garbage Man, October 30th. Doors open at 6 p.m. It's going to screen at 7:30. I'm going to be selling copies of An American Horror Story, which is my story behind the scenes of the murder trials, the Dahmer stuff, the talk show industry, the talk show mill. And it's told in first person central. And it is a pretty blistering read. I would warn readers at home. Trigger warning. It's a very dark book. It's very heavy. And actually, I don't know if you guys want to. It'd be kind of cool if you could read. One of you guys could, like Ethan did, read the introduction from Don Richard Slager on the air here.
I can do that. By the way, folks, the link to this book that he's talking about is right below the video. You can click it and get out there. Where do I find the introduction at? Is it on this page?
It's right there in the description. Scroll up a little bit. See that? There you go. It's right in there. And Don Richard Slager is the only surviving victim of the serial killer, the Happy Face Killer. Okay. And so when they're portraying me on Netflix as some kind of douchebag, or they're portraying me on the news as a douchebag who's exploiting victims, and I'm a victim of violent crime, guys. I am. My loved ones are victims of violent crimes. And I've hung out with a lot of people, and we've spent a lot. I've hung out at a crime convention with John Wayne Gacy's childhood best friend. And we're in this hotel room talking deep into the night. And we were also there with a survivor of the Columbine massacre who's in a wheelchair. And we were all talking about survivor's guilt. That's what we were talking about. So when people say, Hart, you're exploiting this. Fuck you. I'm in the middle of it. I'm a victim of violent crime. My loved ones are victims of violent crimes. I've been beaten. I've been attacked. My loved ones have been raped and murdered. And so when I am out there, people that actually know my work seek me out. They seek me out. And so I think that is what happened with Dawn. And go right ahead with that setup, RJ. Feel free to read that for people.
Here we go. In 2009, as I was coming forward to tell my story for the first time, I was also asked to become a monthly contributor for the true crime website In Cold Blog. It was there that I first discovered the writings of Hart D. Fisher. Never before had I seen such raw and rare documentation of the pain that I myself was forced to endure as I stumbled through some of the darkest days of my life. For years, I became stuck in a dysfunctional grieving process, blundering in between a state of anger and denial, nearly drowning in my depression and emptiness. Off and on, I searched for solace in the bottom of a bottle, until the pain had become nothing less than a ravenous thief, stealing the fire from within me. I was an empty shell, merely existing. It hurt to breathe. Everything hurt. I knew immediately, though, through his expression of pain, which I believed to be an absolute artistry of words, that Hart D. Fisher had once traveled through the same vortex as I had so many years ago. Not everyone can understand this tormented state of purgatory, but those who have been there know the deepest form of suffering. It is a place that my mind could have never fathomed prior to experiencing such immense pain and loss. I believe the amount of tragedy and or trauma that we experience in our lives, coupled by the way we have chosen to interact with it, may enable some of us to tread into the darkness and capture the very essence of all that is evil. But of those people, only a select few will ever make it back, bearing upon them the imprint of that experience while remaining both engaged and intact. Hart is as real as it gets. He has a rare talent that allows him the ability to open the very gates of hell and walk you through them like no one I've ever known. His writings reach down into the depths of my soul and speak volumes of a place I had never found the words to describe. The intense, visceral emotion that you will experience as you take this journey with him will ultimately challenge everything you thought you knew about pain, grief, and the limitation of self-will. That's a hell of an introduction.
Yeah. And the book is going to take you to darker places than that. It's the collected writings from what I did at In Cold Blog. In Cold Blog was the world's #1 true crime blog site in the 2000s, like 2009, 2010. And it was done by the late, great Corey Mitchell. And the editor, my editor was Michelle Mad Dog McKee. Mad Dog is my nickname for Michelle. Michelle is also a crime survivor. And also she was a Munchausen victim. And she was my editor. And so she contacted me to be the First Amendment writer for In Cold Blog. And so that's what they wanted from me, is they wanted me to write about First Amendment issues because I've fought so hard for freedom of speech. It's part of why I'm so disappointed that Americans are so eager to give up their freedom of speech. It drives me nuts that people are
debating whether they have too much of it.
Well, the notion that you're going to celebrate when a private corporation censors our sitting president from their Twitter account, that's insane. In a country known for the First Amendment, that's
those
insane.
bastards got Mike Barron's account today.
Did they get Mike Barron today?
They got
his
account.
They got his promotional account, the one for Private America.
That he sells his book.
They did the same thing to me. Okay, guys, for the people at home who don't know, Facebook has put me on a 90-day restriction because of a Dahmer meme I shared in 2020.
Yep.
They did this 2 weeks before the Netflix special came on the air, and obviously 2 months before the election. But what I would say to them is, Facebook, you're fucking dumb motherfuckers. My television channel reached 8 million viewers last year. 8 million without you. 8 million. Average watch time, 32 minutes per viewer. That's far more than your YouTube. That's far more than your Facebook video bullshit. And we're uncut and we're uncensored. And I have a group of leaders that work with me, people like Max DeVille, people like RJ Carter. I am working with the leaders of the industry. So this notion that you're going to toy with me, it's a mistake. You're only giving me an opportunity. So keep it up. You're giving me an opportunity because I like to fuck with corporate titans like yourself. I like to defeat you. And that's what you can see in an American Horror Story. You could read, how did I handle the Sally Jesse Raphael show? Read the book. How did I handle being on these shows that the abuse is horrendous? The way the victims' families are treated on these shows is just god awful. And they always try to hide that. They always try to pretend. But it's like a puppy mill. It's a puppy mill. They don't care. They're making their money. They're selling the sad song. They want you to cry on camera. They want your pain. They want your pain. And they want to sell it. And they want to keep it for themselves. I don't know, man. I've been watching this Dahmer Netflix show. And it looks like a pretty good FX show. The acting is good. It's shot well. But ladies and gentlemen, for you to condemn me for exploitation over a 24-page comic book that's in black and white that people can't even fucking buy anymore, but you're going to do a 10-episode miniseries and show shit I never showed in the book and portray Dahmer in a way I never portrayed Dahmer in the book.
Yeah.
You folks are talking about yourselves, and you made a mistake because we live in this age where we can talk. RJ, you're giving me a platform. Pops, I'm going to come on your show. You're going to give me a platform.
You're
and
on my
truth is
platform right
powerful.
now, Hart.
Yeah, we're
You're on my
simulcasting to
platform
Pops'
right now.
channel right now.
Oh, I didn't know that. I didn't know
Yeah,
that. I was like,
we're
I got to
two
talk to
places at
Pops
once.
and I got to get on Crownburst.
We're
You
all
still gotta
over the
do that.
place, bro. We're everywhere now. We're everywhere.
That's
We're
good.
hitting all
That's
those
good. That's how,
platforms.
it's how you got to be because they're lying to us. Okay, I'm the man behind the curtain, ladies and gentlemen. I worked in advertising. I made good money in advertising. I work in TV. I'm a director. I'm a writer. I am an expert at propaganda and manipulation. And what's happening in our society right now is an unreal amount of manipulation of like all this stuff that shows up in your Facebook feed and it's these news stories from these sites talking about comic books. They're bullshit. They're paid for by some corporation. You get what I mean? They're fake. They're not real.
Mm-hmm.
None of them are real. So when you read an American Horror Story by Hart D. Fisher, the author of the Jeffrey Dahmer comic books, you're getting the real thing. You're getting a straight up shot to the face. You're getting a punch in the mouth. I got to warn people, the writing in this is strong. Unless you're a James Ellroy fan, unless you're an Andrew Vox fan, this book is going to kick you in the nuts. It's going to punch you in the throat. It's going to knock you over and kick you in the ass. This is not for kids at all. This is a very dark book.
I read one Andrew Vox book, and it was very dark. And, of course, I read it 20 years ago because I was a comic book guy. He wrote a Batman novel, and it was Batman taking on child trafficking.
Yep.
And it was as dark as it could get. I was like, dude, this is a Batman story. Holy shit.
Well, when we were doing Heart Attack Radio, Michelle McKee was part of this group. She introduced me to the female journalist. I can't remember her name right now because I'm a little deep in my whiskey. And she was instrumental in exposing the Steubenville rape case. Now, I don't know if people at home know what this is, but the Steubenville rape case was there was a girl who was raped by all the high school football players. And they covered it all up. They completely covered it up. The sheriff's department, the city covered it up. And Michelle and this journalist, they exposed it. They exposed it nationally, and they put themselves at physical risk. They put themselves at financial risks. And that's a thing that I think folks at home don't understand is how many amazing, strong, powerful women I work with here at American Horrors. How many amazing, strong, educated, badass women that are part of my team. It's pretty amazing. And I think we're unique. I don't think that goddamn Shudder has the head of Shudder. I don't think their buddy is Ronda Rousey's mom.
No.
Don't think so. Don't think they're Olympian judo people that have broken 9 arms. I don't think so. I don't believe that the people that are competing with me are as hardcore as me. They're not. They're cowards, and they stab you in the back. And so this thing with you guys and what you're doing is so important to give an alternative voice. Guys, this Kickstarter and Indiegogo revolution has changed comics so much from the tyranny of the Diamond Capital, Comics Hawaii, fucking Friendly Franks. You used to be imprisoned by this, and this whole thing, this is a revolution that you guys are doing. And I was trying to say this on Ethan's show. When I was on Ethan's show, he was insisting that like the censors have won. And I'm like, no, they haven't. Look at what you've done, Ethan. Look at what you've accomplished. Look at how much amazing books you've done. Look at the audience you have. Fuck them. They didn't silence you. They fucking enabled you.
This is very true. It's I look at it like, the Romans trying to stamp out Christianity. It's like every time they step their foot in that puddle real hard, it just splashed the water all over the world.
For every action, there's an opposite and equal reaction. That's part of reality. There's a reason why there's the sun in the sky and the moon. There's night and there's day. You got to have both. You're going to have good. You're going to have evil, and it kind of gives us this game to play here on this world. And the truths that the lies that these mass media people are selling, it's one of the reasons I love Joe Rogan so much, is they're trying to silence open conversation. And what we're having here is an open dialogue. And like when I was on Ethan's show, I felt like we kind of argued here and there, but that's cool. I like that. I like a good argument. I like a good fight.
Yeah, you should. I mean, if you're going to have, otherwise it's just a big echo chamber, which is what, we always get being accused of being. Allie, we did talk about the cover for the book, by the way, before you.
I'm sorry, Allie, I've not been able to read this. I'm seeing this on the phone, and I feel like if I lean forward, you're going to have to look at my kitty cat sunglasses too much.
Yeah, but we covered that, and you'll be able to read all about it tomorrow or Saturday, because, Hart, one thing that when I get pissed at something, and it happens every once in a while, I don't get on my YouTube and do 18 videos a week on the subject for a year and a half, because that's pretty much relegated to YouTube. I'll write and I'll publish, because what happens with writing and publishing as opposed to something on YouTube is like this. When I wrote today about, Twitter suspending the marketing account for Marvel Punisher writer Mike Barron.
Why did they do it? What was their excuse? What was their excuse to censor Mike?
None given. Broke the Twitter rules. All it ever did was promote the Indiegogo.
So what I did? So you know what I did? I went and tagged Elon Musk in your article.
Yeah, well,
and said, what the fuck?
Possibility, but you know what? These articles that I publish, they get crawled by Google News, because I have the Google News crawler in my admin settings. So these show up in people's news feeds. That gets out a lot further than, a YouTube rant that somebody has. It has a limited audience.
I can't hang out because I got a couple other things to do, but Hart, I definitely want to get you on the show, on one of our shows. Okay. Because we have 20 of them now. I'm kind of following your footsteps. I'm trying to build a comic Roku or channel of our own for us independent creators and whatnot, for comic related shit, right?
Dude, there's a way to do it. If you need help, talk to me, man.
I'm going to trust me. We're just started putting this together. You're on my brain picking list, brother. Count on it. Max is involved. We've been helping Max with the Jibber Jabber, promoting that, getting that out there. I'm networking.
The Jibber Jabber, that's so funny. I was on the phone with Max like last week. He's like, "Hey, you got to get on Jibber Jabber." Guys, what I want to do, here's what I want to do. Okay. So Max was staying with me for a while. Max has been going through some shit in his life. And so he was staying with me, and we were setting up the New American Horrors Classic channel, because I'll just say it, we're fucking tight, man. Me and Max are tight. We're pals. We're buddies. We're working together. I'm lucky enough to have a guy like Max in my corner. I'm not drunk enough to fall into the, oh, you guys don't know Max to feel like I know Max. But I've been there on camera, drunk off my ass, doing that guy at the bar. I love this guy. It's so terrible. It's on Gorecast. It's on my network. It's super embarrassing.
He's a good dude, man. He's
a solid dude,
6 months
and
building that thing, man, and it's going to serve
he's doing
all
great
of us.
work, man.
So,
He's doing great work. He really is. Atrocity Press is great. I really feel it's the new Chaos. If there was anybody doing the new Chaos comics, I think Max is doing it, and he's doing what he loves, and that's how you win, man.
Yep. And that's what we're doing. We're trying to build a bigger, better mousetrap, bro. I will definitely be like I said, in touch with you soon, picking your brain. We've connected with the Dorkening Network. RJ's in my crew, just let matches in my, we got a good crew, man. We're gonna build something big.
I like team ups. Like I work with Ken, who owns B-Movie, bmovie.com. B-Movie is a channel on Roku. It's kind of like mine, but it's more like exploitation movies and kung fu movies and big titted ninjas. Kind of like Max's thing.
Max's TV channel. Yeah.
It's not Max's channel. It's this guy, Ken, Ace Norton. Ken was a heavy duty drag strip driver. And guys, we don't have to compete with each other. There's enough people out there and consumers that we could work together and build our audience together. And that's what I'm about. Like, let's work together.
One of the things, Hart, and this is one of the things I wanted to talk to you about, because I see the big guys, the kings over there, and they all have decent sized channels, right? And they all hang out together, and their channels keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And at the same time, they're telling everybody, you need to build your YouTube presence. So now we have 500 little channels, but their 10 channels still all get all the views. It's like I'm trying to build a channel everybody can come to, and we can have a big fucking channel like they do.
What do you mean? Like
Ethan, Graham Nolan,
the Kings, the comics
Kings,
they all hang out together. They all got big channels, but they tell everybody else to go build a small one instead of banding together like they did and build something big. Right? I'm building something big, bro.
I was watching Dan Fraga's The Professionals last week, and I just thought a lot of it was just like, it seems like a lot of these channels involve people hanging out with their friends.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And I think that's genuine. And that's what I like about Joe Rogan's channel. When Joe Rogan's doing a show, I really like all the talk with the comedians or Seinfeld. When Seinfeld does comedians in cars with coffee, I love it because it's genuine. It's like what we're doing here. We're having a genuine conversation. Mm-hmm. We're not on the Howard Stern show talking about tits. We're having an actual conversation about topics that we actually give a fuck about. And that's what people are craving is something that's genuine.
Yeah. I mean, like, I never come on here. I don't even have a bullet point of a list of things to talk about when I do interviews. Like, I know who I'm talking to. I know what they've got to sell.
Yeah.
I do. Like, buy American Horror. An American Horror Story right now at AmericanHorrors.net. I've got a total fucking agenda. I'll admit it. I need some money. I got some real estate taxes I got to pay. Help me out, goddammit. Buy me a hamburger. You buy these books, you might be buying me a hamburger. AmericanHorrors.net/store. Get American Horror Story, the premier copy, the new copy, because this book has been around for 10 years now. And we only released it in 2 limited edition signed runs. So an American Horror Story was never released to the public like this before. And I would recommend people jump on this, get the pre-order, get the book. It's really intense. And I don't know, I'm out of rant. I feel like I need more whiskey in here.
Nothing wrong with more whiskey. I am... I'm just typing a few things over here.
Well, I'm drinking Canadian Club and Dr. Pepper today.
Yeah, you said that once, now twice. Yeah.
Well, somebody might be tuning in now and going, what the fuck is that guy drinking in his bathrobe?
Everybody should know you by now, Hart. Everybody should know you by now.
If they don't, it's a crime.
If they don't know who you are by now, they ain't been paying attention to none of our fucking channels, bro.
Here's a
Hart,
weird
I just
thing.
bought you a hamburger.
Uh-oh. Did you buy me a hamburger?
I just bought you a hamburger, man.
Abby,
So,
we got a hamburger! I got my Girl Friday off camera here. I really wanted to also say online, I wanted to thank Abby Jean Wilson from Awe Promotions and Productions here in Lake Geneva because she's really been helping me a lot. Like, I've had so many of my people dying and so many of my people disappearing on me that Abby has been really great. I've been dating Abby, I'll admit it. But she's been great, man. She's really, really helped me a lot. And she's
Abby, up your life insurance.
Uh-oh. Oh, she wants to move in. She's in love. Look out. I'm in trouble. Jesus Christ. I got this hot little blonde here, this Swedish little blonde chick from Wisconsin who takes really good care of me, is lots of fun. She can be kind of bitchy on her Facebook page. You're too bitchy on your Facebook page, you finger wagging Karen.
Yep.
I'm gonna get out of here before I'm gonna get out of here before he becomes a victim of another violent crime.
No, it won't happen, brother. I'm the real man. This whole thing with me and Abby started because she was my sub, and that's a whole other discussion.
Yeah, I got it.
That's another show.
Good.
And we've had
that's a whole other spanky show.
I've had
Hart, I will be in touch, bro, because like I said,
we're gonna hook up online.
All right, man. Y'all have a good night. RJ.
See you, Pops.
Peace.
Yeah, we had I can't remember her name now, but it was an interesting. She had a special on some streaming service that catered to a specific niche, and she was a dominatrix, and she was like going around the country finding the different kinks people were into, and we interviewed her on the show. I'm like, oh, this is gonna be fun.
That's my jam, guys. I mean, I worked in adult films for a reason, because I'm a damn dirty pervert, but I'm a good red-blooded American male pervert. Damn it, I like my women grown up.
I
like adult women.
I can see you doing that kind of work, man. You could look good on camera. I never figured out how Ron Jeremy got the job, but you know.
No, I was a director. When I worked in the business, I was a designer first. Like, I worked for an ad agency, and we did the video box design. Like, we did the VH. This was back in the 90s during the VHS age. So some of the Boneyard Press publishing was financed from my work in adult films as a graphic designer. And I worked for Vivid Video, JM Productions. I was nominated for Best Ad Campaign of the Year by AVN for their AVN Awards. I've had multiple work that I've done in that industry has been nominated for AVN Awards, and it was fun. It was fun. It was a good time, and it was good money. It was really good money. But I never got in front of the camera and did anything with the girls. And I did dress as the devil once. There was a movie called This Cunt's for You, and I'm dressed up as the devil, and I'm impersonating my dad.
Oh my God.
Hey, how's that dick taste? It tastes like your ass because it just came out of your ass. And it's pretty funny. And but other than that, I never had sex with anybody in the business. I mean, most of the time I was in adult as a director or as a camera person. I shot a lot of stills. I shot camera for a lot of stuff. I was a director. I wrote stuff. But I was married. I was married to Waka, and I was madly in love with Waka. So I didn't fuck around in porn. I didn't fuck nobody in porn. Sorry, guys, if you got your fantasy about me, he didn't do shit. Sorry. I'd love to tell you that I banged all these broads. I would love to fucking regale you with stories of me railing chicks in porn. Nothing. Sorry, I was married. I was in love with Waka.
There you go. It's like
running
a winery and not taking a drink. I can't. I'm trying to picture out what it'd be like to be a director on those, because it's like, can you go faster? No, not that fast. Slow it down.
No, I'll give it to you. All right, guys, hold for insertion. Bring in stills. Bring them in. Okay. In. Get a still. Click. All right, let's get some stabbing. Let's get some stabbing in here, in and out. How about a gape? Let's get a gape. Let's try to get the gape. Let's get the gape for the stills. Okay, I need you in doggy. No. Now let's reverse. We're going to go into reverse cowgirl. And what's really weird that nobody thinks about, the weird part, is talking to a man. I'm heterosexual, okay? I am 110% hetero. So it's weird for me to be giving direction to a naked man who's stroking his cock to keep his dick hard, and they call it keeping your edge. And you're giving him direction. All right, I'm going to need you to go into pile driver, and then from there we're going to go into this position, and then I'm going to want a facial pop, or I'm going to want a shoe pop. She's got high heel shoes on, so we want to get that shoe fetish in there. It's surreal. It's surreal.
I agree with Allie. This is like the Remo Williams stuff that I've been privileged to write some of the books for. He was taught by Master Chun the
I know Remo Williams. I know the books.
Yeah, well, he was taught
and
the
movie with Fred Ward.
Yeah, exactly. And Fred just passed a couple of months back too.
Oh, really? He did?
Yep. Yeah, he died.
Oh, I didn't know that.
But in the books, he was taught the 27 steps to bring a woman to sexual ecstasy. Starts with tapping on the wrist. And as soon as he learned that, he came back and said, "God damn it, Chun, you've made sex boring. It's all by the book now." And it's like there's nothing, there's no art to it anymore.
What I would say about working in that industry, when you're around naked women all the time, like really hot naked women, I call it being feminized. Okay, I won't get excited just by being a voyeur anymore. I need to be held. Yes. I need some foreplay. I need a little bit of foreplay before you're going to get anything out of me. You get what I mean? Oh, I've been feminized. Absolutely. I need to be held. You got to tell me you love me.
get into my head. Stimulate me here.
Well, I'm already there. I mean, as a horror director, and I'm a dom. I'm a dominant male. I'm a dom. So I've been involved in S&M. I've been involved in that world, and I'm a straight up dom. I'm as dom as it gets. And in fact, I laugh at a lot of the people in the scene because I'm like, you and your stupid fucking leather hat. I'm a judo master, motherfucker. I'm all about submitting those who don't want to be submitted. You fucking jeez, you fake, you poser. I'm a real dominant.
So when do we get a comic book about that?
Well, we did that called True Sin. We did that through Boneyard Press back in the day. It's a book called True Sin. Abby, we got to add that to the library. We got more books. And the idea was no names were changed to protect the guilty. Everybody's name's in here. All true tales of sexual rambunctions. And it's called True Sin. And there were 2 issues that came out. And here's the funny story about that. Okay. I don't know if my buddy Benoit is watching, but my buddy Ben, who I've known since we were little kids.
I love his balls, by the way.
Huh?
I love his balls, by the way.
Oh, yeah. Benoit balls. Fantastic. But Ben runs Deluxe Tattoo in Chicago, and it's one of the best tattoo studios, and Ben is an amazing tattoo artist. We're old friends. And so
wait for it, folks. It's coming.
Ben, God, I lost my train of thought. Where do we start on here?
True Sins.
True Sins. So Ben is visiting me. He's visiting me with a band. And I think since it's 2022, I think I can speak about this. So he's out in LA, and him and his friends that are in this band, Buddha Knievel, they're long gone. They come out and they're staying with me at my house in LA and Los Angeles. And Ben picks up True Sin and he starts flipping through it. And what I didn't know is the True Sin story in there involves me having sex with one of the dudes from the band's girlfriend. And I didn't know she had a boyfriend when I was playing with her. I didn't know. I had no idea she had a boyfriend, let alone a dude in the band I'm working with. And that's in the story. So Ben was going through my house, like picking up stray copies to make sure the dude didn't see the fucking book. God.
Because you didn't change any names.
I kept them only first names. I didn't put last names in because I didn't want anybody to get like flagged online or anything.
Yeah.
And back then it wasn't online. It was, I didn't want anybody to get doxxed or fucking tracked or stalked. So I only used first name, but everything that happens in the book is true. We got to put that in the Boneyard store. We got to put that up at the AmericanHorrors.net/store.
Speaking of the older books and bringing us back to the Dahmer story, which was where we were focused tonight, you were cleaning out your mom's basement recently, and she kept everything you ever made.
Yeah.
And you found some of those original first printing Jeffrey Dahmer, the comic book #1s. Did you sell those through the store? Did they go?
I have not sold them. I'm on the fence because one of the first prints I signed to my mother. The other first print I signed to my dad.
Well, there you
So
go.
Yeah, I'm kind of on the fence about that. You know what I mean?
I thought maybe
And
you found like a stack of them or something.
No, I didn't find a stack. I found three. I found three. And we recently had a flood too. So if anybody wants to get Gerard Way from My Chemical Romance's first comic book, On Raven's Wings #2, I've got a few left, but we had some floods and they're gone, man. I mean, if you want a fucking waterlogged, fucked up version, I've got those. I didn't throw them in the garbage. I still have them. I've been like thinking about bringing them to shows and saying, "Hey, dollar book."
Oh no, gotta go, man, because those things they're gonna start growing black mold soon.
Well, I took them and I dried them out. Like I took them like to my storage facility and I spread them all across the cement so they could dry, so they weren't like just sitting in a stack, Yeah. Because that's what happened. They were in a box of books. They were in our order fulfillment room, and we got flooded, and the water came in through the walls, and it ruined a lot of my collectible VHS stuff, and it ruined $5,000 worth of collectible Boneyard Press stuff.
And the insurance company says wrong kind of flood.
Yeah. Thank you, State Farm.
We used to call them Snake Farm when I was in the insurance industry. So
yeah, well, I would have paid for the extra flood insurance if someone had just told me, "Hey, Hart, if it rains too much and you get flooded, you need extra insurance." I would have fucking paid for it.
Yeah. Well, ending up with the Dahmer stuff. Yeah, can't talk. I only had one beer. Damn it.
You need
when
another
do you think
beer. You got to pace it out. You need two.
I know. I could probably take another one, but I'm going to have to do like math here in a little bit. I just finished fulfilling because we do fulfillment services for all these crowdfunder people. I just got Tropical Magics out the door, and I was like, that was around 100 packages that were all packaged up, labeled and everything. I was like, this was good. Took up a ton of space. Glad it's out the door and in the hands of the post office. I have 10 boxes coming to me from Australia now because the Barton brothers have finally released Kozor. I'm not going to grab one. I got some of it here already. And I got their data and I ran the data through and I compressed it all because I'm a data programmer and I've got my stuff here that does my work for me. I compressed it all down to the addresses. I'm going to be shipping out almost 1,000 of those.
Holy shit.
Yeah. So
dude.
It's going to be a hot time in the old town that night.
Whoa.
Because I'm used to a 3-day turnaround. Get it, bag them, get paid, ship them. Like
I would like to apologize to all my backers from Bill the Bull, the Omnibus. I apologize for things being so late. I have been dealing with a lot of fucked up personal stuff.
Yeah.
Dude, I feel terrible about it, but also I wanted to make sure that they got the best product possible.
Absolutely. But yeah, eventually you got to pull the trigger.
It's going to happen now. It's going to happen now. I've been working on all this stuff now. Like I'm bunkered down. It's October. I'm in the office. And also part of it is I had to relearn the software. Like I had to learn all this new Mac software. I've been working on Old Faithful with Final Cut Pro from 2007. I know it's embarrassing, but the Old Faithful computer worked. And I want to thank Ash Hamilton from Horror Addicts and the director of what's the Sean Miller story?
Yep.
Ash, good friend, good guy, big supporter, and I got to thank Ash. He hooked me up with this computer, but some of it is like my learning curve. I got to learn all the new software. So I'm going right from doing Build a Bull. I've been going right into Dahmer. We were going to go right into Babylon Crush, but I've been going right into Dahmer and doing all the stuff I need to do. It took me a while to learn the new software and to get proficient with it and make sure this is going to print right. But now I'm there. I'm ready to go.
All right. Well, I'm going to be looking for that because, the iron's hot on that one. People are, if one thing that Netflix did good for you, it was revive people's interests and make them aware of the comic.
It's kind of interesting because this show must have been in production last year. It had to be. And what did I do last year? God, man, RJ, I did 100 hours of podcasting. And then there's not just that too, but let's commodify the idea that I'm the host of American Horrors, and I've been the host of American Horrors since 2008. So we've been on YouTube with this brand, and we've had the TV channel up since 2011. So I've been out there in a way worldwide, reaching people and reaching fans and building new fans for 11 years on a 24 hours a day, 7 days a week channel. And we've been completely ignored by the press. The press has pretty much blacklisted me. That's kind of how I feel. I feel like I've been blacklisted by the press. There's been no writing about the fact that Billie Eilish worked with me. There's, you know what I mean? Not work, but grew up next door to me, is in my products, is in the music video I did for Herd the Humans. It's an interesting thing to see what they're going to censor and what they're going to try to keep out of the conversation. And they fail to understand that the more you try to repress, the more it's going to blow up in your face. Because when you're making a bomb, compression is everything. So the more energy you put into suppressing my work and the work of my teams, the more it's going to blow up in your face. It's going to come back on you.
That's how your car engine works, folks. You compress all that stuff until it just blows up and pushes that piston back. I learned that in small engines class in high school. It's the only thing.
Yeah, right. Like I was supposed to be a chemical engineer, RJ.
You had way more. You were doing that until you got that Chinese fortune cookie that said, "May you live in interesting times."
My best friend John, like in high school, my best friend was a guy named John Genge, the Polish wonder. 4 generations of pure breed Polak in America. You gotta love the Polish. So John and I were assistants to the chemistry teacher, and we were in AP Chem, and that was the path that my parents had me on, and I was on, and I liked chemistry, and I was a science nerd. But I made it my mind that I love comic books more, and I love doing artwork more. And so my parents were deeply disappointed my senior year of high school when I said, you know what? I got to do the comics. I got to do this. And John, my buddy, who decided to go with chemical engineering, deeply unhappy with his career. He's not happy with his career. At least I haven't talked to John in a while. I don't think I've talked to John since my wife's death. But John wasn't happy with his career path. He wasn't happy with his job. And that's where I feel like I have an advantage on people. I love what I do. I love what I do.
Love what you do. You'll never work a day in your life.
Yeah, and I kill myself for American Horrors, but I love American Horrors too. I love the TV channel. I love doing the shows. And man, I got to tell you, RJ, I never thought I'd be a horror host. I never thought I'd be the host of my own TV channel.
You just reminded me. I haven't got it on the calendar yet because I'm waiting for confirmation. We are scheduling another horror host to be on our show just a few days before Halloween this year. Ivana Cadaver is going to be joining us, and
okay, cool.
And she might, hopefully, fingers crossed, be bringing Butch Patrick with her.
I'd party with Butch.
I've interviewed him. I interviewed him at Wizard World one time in front of the Munster car. So
we both got out of one of those Orbitron things, these gyroscope things, and we were both in there spinning around in Dallas, Texas at a show in 1992 or 93.
I can't take spinny things. I get sick too easy when I do that.
Well, I didn't realize, I didn't think about the spinny thing until I'm in it and I'm having fun and I'm walking around. And then I realized I saw my hair flying everywhere. And I thought, what happens if your long blonde hair gets caught as you're whipping around? And so I slowed down and got the fuck off that thing.
Good idea. Good idea. All right, Hart, we're going to close it down here, but I do want to tell you how much I appreciate you coming on the show tonight. It's always fun talking with you. I never want the shows to end, but physically I have to. I'm going to be getting up very early in the morning, and I've been getting up very early every morning this week. So,
well, dude, we're cutting out early. I mean, me and Ethan were like almost 4 hours.
Well, yeah, that's what we did last time, 4.5 hours with Lucifer.
Yeah,
that was a blast. I just can't do it anymore. Not at this time of night. I'm older than I am. That's what I feel like. I'm older than I really am now. I'm 55, and sometimes I feel like I'm 70, and I still act like I'm 12. So there's this huge dichotomy going on in my body.
What are your vitamins? What are you eating? And you need to find yourself a hot little blondie who could be like sucking your dick in the morning. That'll help you get up. In more ways than one, no pun intended. Help you get up.
At Critical Blast on Twitter, folks. You can just send me DMs. Start sending in those pics now. I'll swipe left and swipe right or whatever it is.
Not dick pics, because I think RJ's heterosexual. RJ, are you hetero?
Yeah, I am. I've often declared that I'm a lesbian trapped in a man's body. So
I wouldn't say I'm a lesbian. I'd just say I'm a dude, and I like chicks.
Yeah.
And I know the funny thing is my painted nails mess with people here in Wisconsin.
I bet they do.
It really does. So there's been, and it's weird too, because when you get in these sexual dynamics, okay, I'm who I am. I'm cool with who I am. You go be who you are. That's cool. But I've been used to people hitting on me. Like in Los Angeles, they're openly out and they're, hey, you want to get together? Big, handsome, blonde-haired guy. But here in Wisconsin, it's kind of really closeted and weird. So these dudes that see my painted fingernails hit on me in really weird ways. These weird, obscure, I don't understand, like, oh, that's what you're getting at.
Euphemisms you've never heard.
No, they can't be open. It's way more closeted here. And I'm cool, like, dude, no. I'm fine with no, but it doesn't mean I'm going to hit you or attack you or anything. Like, I just don't eat quiche. I don't like quiche. I'm not going to eat quiche. If you like quiche, bon appetit. And I think that we've lost sight of that in our society of like enjoying, like, hey, if you like it, cool. If you don't like it, that's also cool. If you don't want to eat cauliflower, don't goddamn eat cauliflower. You don't have to eat cauliflower so that you satisfy Biden's fucking agenda.
Yeah.
I know it's a weird way to leave the show. How did we get here?
I get it. I think what causes all the backlash to that is you've got the people who eat quiche and love quiche so much that they want you to love quiche, and they carry around, big plates of quiche everywhere they go with, eat more quiche on their t-shirt. And people are like, will you quit telling me to eat quiche? I don't care if you eat quiche, but stop bringing me into it.
As I push American Horrors, as I sell the American Horrors channel, which I've been doing for fucking over a decade.
AmericanHorrors.net.
AmericanHorrors.net, or on your Roku or glued.tv. That's GLEWED.TV. I'll have people tell me, they're like, oh, Hart, I don't like horror. I don't like horror movies. And they're embarrassed. And I'm like, that's cool. You don't have to like horror movies. Just tell me you don't like horror movies, and I'll stop trying to sell you a horror movie.
Open another channel. You can open AmericanHorrors.net, American WHORES.
Well, we do have a series of
You have
television
that one?
networks we want to do. Me and Waka, my late wife, we had a plan. And part of what people fail to understand about me now is me and my late wife, we had a plan. We had a 20-year plan. She's Japanese, from Japan, not American Japanese, real Japanese, nothing like imported pussy. So she had a different viewpoint of things and a different viewpoint of where we're going. So we know what we're doing, especially with bringing Boneyard Press back, bringing the Dahmer book back. I wouldn't have done it so soon if it wasn't for Netflix and their behavior.
Well, we're gonna talk a little bit about Netflix just a little bit after the show here, but because there is an article, we'll post it all over the place as soon as it's done here. It's gonna be about more than Netflix, folks. There's a bunch of this corporate media abuse of smaller broadcasters and smaller content providers that's running rampant, and we're going to shine a little bit of light on it. But until then, Hart, thank you so much for coming on the show. Everybody in the chat, thank you. We don't have a show without you. We're just a podcast falling in the woods, I say. Otherwise, do click.
If you don't have an audience, you're just jerking off.
That's right. Yeah, exactly. Talking to nobody but myself.
The audience is important. Hey, guys, thanks for tuning in. I really appreciate you tuning in. Thanks for supporting RJ Carter. Thank you for supporting independent comics. And go to AmericanHorrors.net/shop and buy some books, because I need your money, because I want to buy some hamburgers or more Canadian Club.
And we all just thought we wanted to say we hope you had a blast. Good night.
Your favorite podcast is Critical Blast.
We're gonna talk.
And